diplomatic corps, religious leaders, traditional leaders, CEOs present, invited guests, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. 3 months ago, I was elected as leader and flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party to lead the party into the 2024 elections. I am eternally grateful to His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa, the opportunity to serve as Vice President. 11 days ago, the party also completed its election of parliamentary candidates for the 2024 elections. Let me use this opportunity to also appreciate the leadership and grassroots of our beloved party, the MPP, for the seamless organization of the parliamentary primaries following on the I believe the time has now come for me to speak to you, the good people of Ghana, about my candidature, what we have experienced as a nation, my vision and priorities, and why I believe I am the best candidate for the presidency of this country. I recognize that submitting myself to your from interviewing for a job, one needs to tell a prospective employer what he has accomplished in his previous job and how he can successfully deliver in the new position he is seeking, which is what I seek to do in this speech. Even though tonight is about sharing my vision and policy priorities, I crave your indulgence to broadly set up the context. I will first talk about the record of our government and my contribution as Vice President before I lay out my vision. So I ask for your patience. Ladies and gentlemen, when we assumed office in 2017, we were confronted with an economy with declining economic growth, along with several challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, when we assumed office in 2017, we were confronted with an economy with declining economic growth, along with several problems and challenges. Time was provided by the former president and my main opponent for the 2024 presidential election, who announced to the nation that the meat was finished and the economy was left with bones. Notwithstanding the difficult economy we inherited, we had to get on with it and start to fix the problems. We started with a clear, decisive, and deliberate program to, among other things, stabilize the economy, fix DUMSO, fix the National Health Insurance Scheme, fix the roads, clear the arrears, make education free and accessible, significantly enhance social protection for the vulnerable in society, industrialize our economy, tackle youth unemployment, and empower farmers. Between the fiscal deficit, exchange rate depreciation, and the trade balance were all moving in the right direction. However, between 2020 and 2022, we experienced severe challenges triggered by the pandemic, which brought the world and our country to a thundering halt. We may be tired of hearing it, but there is no avoiding the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war resulted in the greatest economic depression in the world since the 1930s, with most countries recording negative GDP growth. The severity, especially of the pandemic, was captured in the words of the IMF managing director, then as, and I quote, "This crisis, like no other. This is a crisis like no other. Pandemics don't respect borders. Neither do the economic shocks they cause. The outlook is dire. We expect global economic activity to decline to a scale we have not seen since the Great Depression." End quote. Supply chain disruptions and rising price of oil resulted in major increases in the prices of fuel, freight, and food across the globe. I believe it is worth pointing out that in addition to the external factors, there were two major items of expenditure that are critical to understanding the difficult economic situation we have faced. And these are the banking sector cleanup and the energy sector excess capacity payments that we inherited. Expenditure on these three items, including the COVID-19 expenditure, cumulatively amounted to 50.1 billion Ghana cedis, and this was financed from borrowing. Ladies and gentlemen, the fiscal deficit, which was reduced from 8.4% to 4.1% in 2019, increased to 10.8% in 2020 as a result of revenue declines in the midst of increased expenditures during COVID. In addition, our debt became unsustainable. Along with many emerging economies, Ghana lost access to international capital market financing. This resulted in a balance of payments crisis as Ghana had to continue to honor its debt obligations, energy payments, and the import bill. We faced a serious global and domestic economic crisis. There were many who predicted that we were going to end up like the situation in Sri Lanka, with fuel shortages, food shortages, inability to pay workers, doomsday, anarchy, and chaos. Indeed, Ghanaians were hit hard by rising food prices, increased exchange rate depreciation, and rising fuel prices and rising transportation fares. Bondholders also saw a sharp decline in their net worth following the painful debt restructuring program. We faced very challenging times, but with calm leadership and the support and understanding of the good people of Ghana, we have weathered the storm. The government had to seek IMF support to stabilize our economy and restore fiscal and debt sustainability over 3 years. I must at this stage salute and give particular recognition to the Bank of Ghana, which has come under unfair criticism for taking the necessary measures which help pull the economy back from the brink. The Bank of Ghana provided needed financing to the government at that critical moment. What the Bank of Ghana did was very responsible in putting the interest of the good citizens of Ghana first. The data